And we're back with another episode of the AC Milan Zone podcast. My name is Stefano. I'm joined by my friend, as always, Oscar. Thank you for joining us. How you doing?
Hello, hello, Stefano. Yeah, pretty well, pretty well. Disappointing result on the weekend, but I've managed to mull it over a bit more and probably come with a bit more analytical mind and a bit calmer than our live reaction that we did
Absolutely.
just
I,
after
I
the
really
game.
do think we've been saying it. These live reactions are helpful. And especially after a couple tough draws that feel like losses in many ways.
Yeah,
That is definitely still the case. We have, as you mentioned, a lot to talk about. If you're watching this, please take a second, drop a like, and subscribe for more Milan content. It helps us a lot. But of course, we must talk about the Fiorentina game. One with a lot of rotations, a lot of disappointment, perhaps the end of our Scudetto run. Just give me your general thoughts, couple sentences, 90 seconds. What do you make of this game?
disappointing to be drawing at 1-1, whilst Fiorentina shouldn't necessarily be at the bottom of the table, or in relegation, I should say. Another. It felt like you say, felt like 2 points missed out. A lot of rotation by Allegri, but yeah, we can get into media and Twitter specifically would be up in arms if we didn't rotate and we still lost. It's one of those Allegri can't win there. Maybe it
Mm-hmm.
was a too bit of a heavy rotation considering we only play one game a week. Although last week we had two games in the space of 4 days, which is a lot. But yeah, disappointing to be only go away from Firenze with 1 point. It's a point salvaged, but the Scudetto race probably is over in my mind. I'm pessimistic, but even when you're saying it, you optimist, then yeah, it
Yeah,
is over.
I think you're spot on. I think in the mind, in our true minds, and in the mind of proper football fans, I think it was clear. I think it was a two-horse race, and if they were gonna continue to be slow and drop points like they had in the first half of the season, and Allegri managed to stuck around, then maybe we can see, especially with Champions League for them. But I think it was always clear to them, to everyone, that we were, if they were one A and B, we were definitely number two. Um, and the squad depth, which is what I want to talk about also, I think shows this, and this was exposed. Um, I do agree that, yeah, I mean, we were bound to rotate at some point. It didn't work well. It was never gonna go well, because I think the main point of this game is that our subs are not anywhere near what our starters are. Not that our starters are all superstars to begin with. Um, I do think that if we look back and we see Genoa and Fiorentina, and look, Fiorentina's at the bottom of the table, but they're coming back. They're finally start to play again, like the quality that they have. Definitely not
Yeah.
a Champions League team like Pioli perhaps at the beginning of the season, but definitely not a relegation side.
Yeah.
I would have much rather rotated against Genoa than Fiorentina. Now, of course, that's very easy to say now when we sit here,
Mm-hmm.
but Fiorentina, created a lot, gave us a lot of threats. Magnana to pull out some good saves. Genoa, we kind of gave them a goal, and then offered very, very little. So I think in that type of game, I would have perhaps rotated a little bit more there, or at least
Yeah.
do a little 50-50. But as you said, the Scudetto run is probably over, probably always was. And the bad news is that we don't go from that to be like, okay, well, we're happy with the Champions League spot. We go to, no, we're in the middle of a Champions League dog fight as well. Because
Mm-hmm.
Juventus look reborn, the Spalletti work is
That's
is starting
scary.
to kick in, very scary. Um, uh,
That bald man is a scary man.
he is. I don't often like him because of, yeah, how much he talks, but look, when it comes to managing a football club, especially a club, um, yeah, he's up there, and beyond what he did with Italy, his record shows that at many big clubs. I was reading that a statistic that he might be the first Italian manager to lead or first manager to lead an Italian team to Champions League spots with four different teams. If he does it with you with this year,
Oh wow.
that would be Inter, Napoli, of course, Udinese, which people forget,
Really?
and this would be Juve.
Did he never do it with Roma? Surely, or did he mention Roma first? Maybe I zoned
Now I'm
out.
not in my own stat. Maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't Udinese because they made it to
No,
the
no, I don't.
qualifiers. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
they
You're
definitely
right.
did. Yeah,
Well,
that's
double
just
check us this for us and
no,
leave it
no,
in the
no.
comments.
Yeah, sorry. I
Um,
mean, it would be typical Roma at that time, though. Like a pretty
yes,
good squad and just couldn't really get over the hump in a
yeah,
way.
and the beef
You had the
with
big, I
Totti.
guess you could say, the big four.
Yeah,
I hate
true.
using the prem. Well, I'm about to say
Yeah,
something bad. The prem idiots, the prem idiots, big four, top six, whatever nonsense. We
yeah.
we translate that into Italy.
Yeah, although I mean it's a conversation because Roma, as you said, it's a good point. Is also in this race. Definitely, we'll see what their mercato also brings. Gasperini is in a full feud with his own management, to the surprise of no one. And then there's Como,
Yeah.
which is also um, a good leeway because we play them, of course, on the weekend, and they also don't have European Championship, and they're there. They're just a couple points behind everyone else. So, for
Yeah.
example, a win against us would definitely put them in the race.
Whoa.
But before we do this, let's get more into the game. It's time for our segment, the zone verdict, hero of the match and culprit of the
Ooh.
match. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, hero of the match. Let's start positive in a one-all draw.
Okay,
Trying to think back. Who would I put as the hero? I think it's quite obvious. I don't. There weren't any stellar performances. I thought
true.
Pavlovic played pretty well,
Mm-hmm.
considering he had a lump of concrete in Estupinian as his left wing back to help him defensively. I say help him defensively. He did nothing. Mignon made some key saves. That wasn't the goal wasn't his fault necessarily. He could
Yeah,
probably have done better, but it was crowded.
true.
Given the benefit of the doubt, it wasn't like a Papita, so maybe he's up for grabs. Not Pulisic, unfortunately. Not Selemakers, which are usually the ones we talk about. I'm gonna have to go for Nkunku, which is a bit uninspiring. Purely, I mean, he got the goal. I think I said that Leao was the hero of the match against Genoa.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it was a subpar performance for Milan, but yeah, Nkunku saves us there with a good goal. He, yeah, that's it. Not much to say, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree. A lot of mediocrity across the pitch. At best, mediocrity. At worst, truly
Hmm.
awful performances. Yeah, I mean, he comes in and gets a goal. It's not just a goal, not just a tap in. It's a good movement and confidence. Comes in, lets a powerful shot go.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see. A lot of times the league, especially Serie A, but any league, can be a league of surprised appearances in the second half. Players that struggled. We'll talk about this or I will in the Como preview as well for them. Players that struggled and maybe were even on the verge of leaving. We see it every year, and I surely hope that Nkunku can be there for us.
Yeah.
Someone who struggled, was on the verge of being sold, maybe still is. January's still long, and then comes in and can be helpful, especially given the injury that doesn't seem to be going away for Leao. Just yeah,
Yeah.
I mean a solid striker goal. Someone with good
It's
technique.
it's important that what you mentioned about the confidence. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was maybe like five or six games ago. He came on, I think, and oh
Mm-hmm.
no, he started, and he would just go into the box and do like a half-hearted attempt. Not go for goal, not really execute the dribble. Doesn't find anyone's space. He just sort
Mm-hmm.
of enters the box and then he just gets stuck in his own footing and almost. This is what he's, I guess, supposed to do and what Allegri is asking him to do. We have other players that are important in the build-up. Just stay around the box and 1-2 touches max and get the shot off. That's it.
Yeah,
I say it, I say as if it's the easiest thing in the world. Scoring goals in football is the hardest thing, but
absolutely. That's why they get paid a lot of money for. Um,
exactly, yeah.
yeah,
If
yeah,
I get that kind of money, best believe I'm scoring. Let's say at least 10 goals in the city. No, I'm kidding. So it's thinking of like these YouTubers. This Theo Baker guy who was asked on a podcast how many goals would he get if he started for City. This was, I think, as Holland was joining.
yeah.
And then they said, oh, non-penalty goals then, and he's like, yeah, I think he said five.
I did see an interesting what if I think on Instagram it was, I'm gonna maybe get it wrong, but it was like You option A, you can get just free money, 50K.
Yeah,
Option B, you start for Man City a whole season in the league.
yeah,
You play 90 minutes up top. You take penalties, but you need to score. And if you score 7 goals, you get 1 million. Otherwise, you walk out with zero. And I was like, ooh, with penalties though. I don't know what their stat is. How many penalties do they get a season? How many? I don't know. They probably get like 5 to 10. No,
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah,
top of my head,
probably.
because I'm not
I'm
scoring
think
any goals. I think I don't care how much I play. I don't think I'm scoring one goal.
it's 50.
But do I
No,
back
just go for the
myself if they take like
50K. Yeah,
12 penalties, 14 penalties to score 50%?
no chance. Yeah,
Wow, no faith.
no.
Speaking of
And
no
there was
faith,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, go on. I was just gonna rant. I'm gonna say I saw another one. One of those is like, you get 25 attempts to take the ball off Bukayo Saka, you win £1 million, or you win, like you say, free money, but a lot less, like 50K. And somebody was like, yeah, of course I can do that. And I'm just thinking, look, Bukayo Saka isn't by no means absolutely world class. He's still a
Yeah,
professional
there is
Premier
the
League forward.
people don't
Yeah,
realize the level.
yeah. There's been times where Van Dijk, your Van Dijks, maybe not your Sergio Ramos, but these Bastonis, the top defenders in the world, can't take the ball off him, and you think you're going to be able to do that?
Yeah, no, no, no.
That and it had to be a clean foul. Like you can't just
Tackle him to the ground. Yeah,
bare hug him. Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
silly, silly.
very silly. But speaking of silliness, the other side of the zone verdict is the culprits. I think there's a few, so I think we can split
Yeah.
the riches here. Maybe I start off with the man on the screen, Pervis Estupinian.
I was hoping you went for Ruben Loftus-Cheek because you love that agenda. I love it too, but it's your agenda. Stupinan is my agenda. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Go
We
ahead.
can swap if you want. I thought I
Oh
was
no,
gonna
no,
leave you
I'm
the
kidding.
juicy
Go
one
ahead.
for you.
The juicy one.
Pervis, oh my god, give us our money back. Give us our damn money back. This was
Yeah.
embarrassing. He made Dodo, who is actually a good player and has been terrible this season, but is actually a quality player. I think one of those players that a lot of people were eyeing if Fiorentina were to go down. But he made him look like prime Cafu. He was terrible on the ball. Every touch he gave Fiorentina at least two great chances. He was terrible off the ball with the marking. Just absolutely terrible. Should have been pulled at half. Was pulled shortly after. And we're lucky that we found, Bartesaghi was found money in terms of how good he is,
Mhm.
because otherwise we'd be absolutely naked on the left side. Just truly, truly dreadful performance by the Ecuadorian, who should always be pretty much a sub. Game is already started. He can kind of
Yes, that.
sneak in, maybe with fresh legs is an advantage. Right now, deer in headlights, probably loss of confidence. There's a bunch of things, but
Yeah.
rough.
I think it shows in how little game time he had before this game. I think it was 5 games where he averaged 5 minutes, if that. Like he was an
Mm-hmm.
unused sub in three, I think. Then he came on for 10 minutes. Wow, and then he
Mm-hmm.
came on with 2 minutes left or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that just goes to show how terrible he is, and also how I mean, Batsagi has been very good, but that the fact that it's 0 minutes, 0 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 0 minutes to then come on
Mm-hmm.
and play over 45 minutes is beyond me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
On the money, bang on.
you're right about getting our money back. I mean, let's think of EU consumer law. How does it apply here? You buy a faulty product for a lot of money, whether it be from Amazon or from Apple themselves, and it doesn't work and it's a terrible product. I'm sure there are some stipulations, and in the terms and conditions, you can go and quote the EU law and say you've sold me a scam product or a faulty product. This would be where it comes into play because oh
Spoken
my
like a man who's just trying to wrap up his masters right here. This is the type of content you only get on AC Milan Zone, by the way.
yeah.
Just so you know.
The high IQ and high culture IQ and high law IQ. But yes, it's you're right.
Yeah.
Money back, and it's you know we probably weren't expecting a Theo Hernandez, but even if we got half of prime Theo Hernandez, I'd be okay almost because Theo Hernandez is not a one in a million, but he was
Close to, yeah.
close to it. Uh, how much did we pay for this bum? 18. 19
Yeah,
from
yeah,
20.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's really turning into an
it's
Emerson Royale, which is unfortunate. Yeah, we weren't looking for something great. We are just looking for not a liability, and that's what he is.
yeah,
And it's really rough. And I see a lot of discourse also online talking about, okay, but this must be Allegri's fault somehow because like he was one of the best, prime fullbacks in the Premier League. First of all, the Premier League is very different. The
yeah,
defending there is minimal. You can get away with a lot of stuff. You have a lot more spaces.
yeah,
The Serie A is very different. Second of all, he played for Brighton. You saw the bangers and you saw the little stats when you played Fantasy FPL. Um,
mm,
when he goes in. But if you watch games, he was never incredible. And
no,
third of all, people get tricked. De Zerbi, people hate him in Italy because I don't know why, because he plays beautiful football. But it's like
how
Conte
dare
with
you?
Hoyland. Like Hoyland is a good player, but Conte is
Yeah,
putting him in situations where he can shine. The Zerbi did wonders and always does wonders with this type of players.
yeah,
So don't get tricked. Again, not that Allegri is faultless throughout all of this. He has definitely his fault. It's that he's the type of manager that he is. But Pepe's Stupinian was really really rough.
yeah.
Unfortunately, the rough players don't end here. Where do we want to go next?
I'm gonna go for. It's a trend. It's what we do. It's part of our therapy session almost every week at this point now. It's the RLC. It's the guy that put in a stellar, a Ballon d'Or performance against PSG those 2 seasons ago. I was hoping we'd see the next coming of Jesus Christ, the next almost Kaká but more box to box midfielder. And again, consumer law, EU consumer law, come back. Uh, we're paying a scammer. How this guy plays so many minutes
Yeah,
for a pretty stacked midfield for our standards
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
is beyond me. I went on a rant during our live reaction. I think I listed every single EAFC or FIFA attribute that a midfielder should be good at. I realized that watching it back, but it's true. He's just so either bang average or poor in every single sort of stat or aspect to his game. He doesn't carry the ball very well anymore from box to box, in counter-attack situations because
Mm-hmm.
he's not there in the counter-attack because he's
Mm-hmm.
probably out of position.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to have the legs for it somehow because he's obviously looks like most professional footballers, to be honest. But you can see in this picture, look at that build.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's meant to be that 190 centimeter tall, box to box, dominating in the air, dominating in speed. But no, we just get 70% sprint all the time.
Mm-hmm.
His touch makes me feel like I could have become prime Xavi. He doesn't have a shot on him.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the situations, he either bottles it or skies it or decides to pass backwards. He can't. It looks like he can't actually pass across a pitch. He has to do it. It has to be within almost 5 meters, maybe 10, or pushing it at a 10 meters for him to accurately pass to somebody. And then it's probably somebody that's in danger of losing the ball. And then he doesn't do a movement where he can do a quick 1-2 or whatever. His defending is just not there. So, and this is the prime game for it to show these attributes. Sorry, yes, go ahead. It's a
No, no,
rant.
no, no. I mean, I'm so in agreement, and I mean, perhaps, yeah, you're right. Maybe this is my hater agenda. That's the part that annoys me the most because look, am I gonna blame you because you don't have a long shot? Like, obviously it would be nice, but it's harder. But you're so you're so big. Please, run. With the fact that he just disappears, he absolutely does nothing off the ball is
Yeah,
insanity. He doesn't mark. He pretends to sort of press. Zero recoveries.
yeah.
His passing percentages this game were all 70% or below, which sounds like a lot, but then you realize we pass backwards most of the time. So it should be those, Tony's Kroos stats of, 96%. And if you're
A
not so
friend,
good, maybe it's 80. No, it's 70 or below for him. Uh,
yeah, that reminds me of Kroos. Jonas, a friend of ours in high school and middle school, he called Kroos Querpass Tony, which means a cross pass to Kroos, like Tony Kroos, because that's all he did. And he just Much like aura farming, he'll be stat padding.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, Allegri's Milan passes. This is what we do. The percentages, if you look at them, are usually pretty high because there's a lot of side to side and backwards passing. But no, not for him. The shots are in there. He's often, big and been asked to go win some headers. I don't think I remember. I'm not sure about the stat. I don't have it, but just off memory, one header that he won that went on target. Not
Mm.
one.
Yeah.
He's just useless, and I it's insane that people see Fofana and look. I don't care that he slips. I don't care that he's cast some shots, and actually think that he's you'd rather play Ruben Loftus-Cheek than Fofana. And with Fofana,
Yeah.
you have maybe a mediocre player that does some good things here and there, and we'll get to Fofana in a later segment, or at least I
Yeah.
will. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is literally a walking red card. He's not there. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him unless everyone else is injured. Please don't put him there.
Yeah. No, you're right. We don't see him at all sometimes. My camera's gone all fuzzy. Apologies for that.
No, I see
It
you. I see
was
you. You're good.
okay. What was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought. Yes, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and his. Uh, is it an attitude problem or like a because we've been talking, we Milan fans on Twitter have been talking about him and Leao's body language and mentality and how it's been poor. At least at least he shows himself on the pitch when push comes to shove and gets the ball. Ruben
Mm-hmm.
Loftus-Cheek's attitude is just to be mediocre.
Yeah.
And look, I think we have better midfielders, and we should have bigger aspirations to have as substitutes or starters than Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And I'd be happy on leaving.
Yeah.
Or him, me leaving. I want to leave. I'd be happy for him to leave.
Two draws and the man is ready to throw his Milan jersey in the trash. Nah,
Yeah.
on stream only. On stream only. No,
So 23
100%
years
right.
of supporting this team, and I'm out of here
And look,
after this.
the rest of the midfield underperformed for sure.
Yeah.
I think some of these players get not a lot of hate because they're more liked. If Fofana played a game like Jashari and Richie did, he'd get a lot more hate. But I have hope. Richie was definitely a little bit of a fish out of water, and perhaps not his role. Not one forward pass, a lot of fear, which makes sense with where we're playing. Jashari for me was very timid, which again
Yeah.
also makes sense. But I have total hope in them that they're going to grow into the role. That if they were to be inserted in a starting 11 that's full and playing with the other good players, they do well. For Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I have zero hope. So for me, easily the culprit. Yeah, that's pretty much all I
Culprit.
have to say. But it is time to move on to our next segment, and this is might be a rich one for after a very poor performance. Oscar Pessimist Corner. What is something
My presence.
that is
Yeah.
worrying you, and that all Milan fans should be worried about after this game?
Let me try to remember. I think I think for the previous game I had was it Modric is losing his
Hmm.
magic a bit. That was against Genoa.
Yeah.
And now this is similar. It's about the midfield because we now saw that Modric came off, or not came off, but he didn't start. And we saw Richie a bit deer in the headlights, looked like a lost headless chicken. English isn't my first language. I should say.
Headless, you got it.
Headless running chicken. And we saw that the midfield trio didn't work fantastically well together, at least. And is it fair to throw Jashari under the bus? Not necessarily. I give him the benefit of the doubt because he's been out for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Richie perhaps a bit more because we've been saying that Allegri has been using him as a Rabiot sub or a Rabiot replacement. Now he's been playing this midfield ball playing midfielder, and he played quite a poor game. At least the first 30 minutes were diabolical. However, let's look at the defensive side of the game, and I think while we didn't concede on this, we have conceded in the past a lot of big chances. Is not tracking runners into the box and this was true last season as well, because we have similar players from last season. And it's been, I think Fofana's done it a couple of times. This time we saw Ricci, Ruben Loftus-Cheek specifically not doing it and supporting our back three. Now we conceded a lot of chances this game again with on Estupinan's side.
Yeah.
And there was a situation in the second half as well. I think was Stupinan wasn't on, but they were somewhat half counter-attacking, and Parisi was completely free on the other side,
Hmm.
like completely without anyone really, seeing that. So it's a mix of man marking and tracking runners, and it's what is worrying me is that perhaps Allegri doesn't point this out as important, and maybe it's something he's trying to fix. But we've conceded so many chances and so many dangerous chances that I'm surprised we haven't lost more games. To be honest.
Yeah, I fully agree. I do think the only thing part that I disagree is, and obviously neither of us can know who's right about this, is that I personally think Allegri actually notices that type of stuff
Yeah.
a
Otherwise,
lot.
I'd be there in his
He
position.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
spoke early on in the season about our ability to sense fear, which is such an Allegri, and sense danger, which is such an Allegri way of saying things.
Yeah.
But I think he's talking about that. He also spoke about um, both after the Genoa game, saying there were some things defensively we didn't do well. We need to go back. And against after Fiorentina, he said, "I told the guys, but we should have done differently defensively against that. We all the mistakes that we made against Genoa, and we repeated them." So I think
Yeah.
obviously we can't know if that's what he's talking about, but I think that's exactly what he's talking about. And it goes again to the main point that we're a poorly built squad. We're a squad that has three defenders that are okay. They are good to okay, but nothing special. That cannot play well for the back, so we're kind of stuck with this formation that have no subs and that need to be supportive, which is why Rabiot is so key for us because he does a lot of that
Mm.
dirty work. And we see in situation where we don't work hard to support them, we fail defensively, and that's why we can't afford to be such a non-tracking back, non-running backwards team. Because otherwise you end up with situations like last year where you throw more men forward, you have more personnel that doesn't track back a lot, and you concede 2 goals a game on average, and you finish eighth.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is definitely a worry, concern, and a fair point that you bring up. That I tend to
Yeah.
agree with
That's
a lot.
usually we go for a player. I don't because we have the hero and the culprits now. Decided more of a tactical analysis, if you even want to call that. But yeah,
No, absolutely, it's a very fair point.
it's a common theme in our gameplay. I feel like.
Yeah, no, fully agreed. If you wanna maybe switch then to my highly underrated pick uh, of uh, of the game, definitely we'll focus on Fiorentina. And again, I'll give two names. One is just personal agenda, so I'll get started with that. And the use of Fofana. This is like when you have a little fling with maybe a girl, and then things are okay, but you just feel like not the greatest. You dump her, and then you go back in the market, and then you realize, man, the good thing that I had, what did I give up? You wanted Ruby Loftus-Cheek, you wanted Richie, Yusuf Fofana. I don't care if he slips, I don't care if he skies some shots. An actual hardworking midfielder. And again, not
Yeah.
particularly shade to Richie, but definitely towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah.
Comes in, and it's not an incredible pass, but it's a very good pass. Kind of no look, leads the run, gives Nkunku the assist.
Would and you're right to say it's not an incredible pass, but how many times would Ruben Loftus-Cheek have done it? You know.
Yeah, no forward passing, no passing between the lines.
Yeah.
So please apologize to this man. Everyone who's slandering me in the comments and the DMs every time.
Uh, I
So
did like your analogy with finding having a partner and then going back on the market. It's very funny timing of you to say that considering what yesterday was your anniversary, but with shout out the L dog.
I
Not gonna say her name on
I
stream.
I lock I
Uh,
lock him down. You know what I mean? I know my Fofanas when I see them, and I don't slander them. Is what I'm trying to say.
that is the biggest compliment she'll ever get, I think.
And then the second name, and then maybe here's where I want to know more about your opinion, and we can talk about some news. Is Fulkrug. Look, again, it wasn't anything spectacular. Absolutely not. But again, and I'm gonna keep beating this drum because I feel like people are starting to blame Allegri, and I really don't think it is. This shows how poorly built this squad was. That they
Yeah.
weren't able to give Max the one type of player that he wanted, which was an actual strong number 9. Um, to sort of anchor this team and play off of. Um, we didn't get him, so we had to go in January, and all we could get was Fulkrug from West Ham.
Yes.
And look, if Chris Pulisic was on form, he has two, maybe three assists, and we win this game. And he's co-man of the match.
Hmm.
Um, Solid performance once again. I think if you're a Milan fan, before we signed him, this is all you could have hoped for and more. So he gets my highly underrated pick. What do you think of
Yeah.
his game?
Yeah, like let's see. I mean, he didn't do a lot, but he's not there to do a lot because he's not meant to be part of the. Well, no, as in like he's not meant to be part of the build-up play.
Yeah,
We didn't dominate this game necessarily, so we wouldn't have been in the final third as much.
yeah,
We saw him having to drop into our own box when we had the ball. Not that he was
hmm,
chasing anyone, or we were pressed against a Barcelona where you have the striker being outside your own penalty area. So I think that, like you say, shows how he is perhaps, I shouldn't say being thrown under the bus, but he can't be shown his true potential because we can't keep simple passing and move it into the final third as much. But when he did get the chances, he did what he was meant to do, the layoffs,
yeah,
kind of occupying at least two of their defenders because,
yeah,
as you see in the picture, he's a big boy. Uh, I like my big Germans. Sus. So he did what is asked of him to do, and he's a number
absolutely.
nine, a big, strong number nine that Allegri likes to play with. Uh, and he didn't get in the summer transfer window, and now we finally have him, and he's doing the job.
Yeah.
But for how much longer is he doing the job?
The unfortunate news, of course, although apparently it was very bad news at first. It sounded like a
Okay.
full broken toe, which would have taken him out for 1 to 2 months, which is not pretty much the season over, but very very close to it.
Yeah.
Um, the latest news, I don't know if you know more than me, but it seemed that it wasn't fully broken, but there is some sort of
So
problem. So people are saying maybe
there
two
might be
games.
like a hairline fracture or just like a stubbed toe.
Yeah, something like that. He did get stumped on both the games that he played pretty hard, so maybe it's that, maybe it's training. We're not sure. So the
Yeah.
latest news seems that he might miss only hopefully a couple games and try to be back for Roma.
Yeah.
But it's tough when you come out of these two tough,
Oh,
draws, and there's only very few positive points. And one of them was Niklas Fulkrug is maybe doing better than we thought, and just like Nkunku, as soon as he does better, he goes down injured.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I really want him to be back for Roma because I would love to see him and Mancini battling it out.
Ooh, that's the
Purely
battle of
because
muscle, but
I
also just
hate
lack of
Mancini.
brain cells. Maybe no disrespect to
That's hey,
Fulkrug.
don't disrespect Fulcrum. Don't bring him down to Mancini's level.
Fair, fair, fair. And I think before we move on to the game and then Como, he didn't really fit anywhere, but he has to be talked about. We put him up on the screen. Chris Pulisic, of course. Arguably, this game is maybe one. If he slots away the three chances he had, two of them very, very clear. That's the truth. He wasted. I'm sure he'll be the first one to tell you. The man has carried us all season.
Yeah,
The stats were ridiculous. He was scoring, 70% of the time he shot the ball went in. We knew that was going to come to an end. If you do that well for so long, you're allowed to have
yeah,
a game off against a good goalkeeper,
yeah.
and I'm sure that he will want to bounce back, and he will bounce back like he did after the Juve penalty miss.
Yeah, and I saw somebody, I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was a friend of the podcast, but it's going through sort of the situations where Pulisic has actually missed the season and in a way therefore lost his points. I think it was against Parma.
Yeah.
Do you remember he
Hmm.
skies it?
Yeah.
It was a Juventus penalty and these two, and then you can sort of rack up the points, which is a fair analysis, but it's
Hmm.
taken out of context where you
Yeah.
flip it. How many times has Pulisic saved us? Uh,
Yeah.
I
On the
mean, 1
flu,
nil
comes
against
back
Inter,
and
just
literally
that.
wins us a game that was lost. That's 3 points right
Yeah,
there.
1-0 against Inter. He was the only one who scored,
Yeah. Napoli
albeit from a yeah,
scores
albeit
and
from
creates
a
the
yeah,
first goal by himself. Yeah. Look.
exactly. So you can flip it. It wasn't like a hate speech on him. It was just making sure
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we are
Yeah. Yeah.
aware that he's not the perfect player.
Hmm.
But Leao, if this has been Leao, Jesus Christ, I know Leao has probably his DMs closed off, and I know he has his comments for unfortunate reasons, purely because of the the agenda us Milan fans create. It's not even, I shouldn't say I understand it if it's opposition fans, but we create this hatred.
True,
I say
true, true,
we
true.
don't, us two don't, but the average
Yeah,
Milan
the average fan.
does.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all about Pulisic, but it has to be talked about again. I think it's yeah, obviously, goals missed, probably points missed with those goals. Then, should we do a little bit of a game and then move on to Como?
Yeah, we could absolutely if you
Okay.
have time for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Do you want me to do the little game? I
Yeah.
read off the squad list. We can go just yes or no, or we can go into detail with some players. Which of these players would make our squad?
Okay.
Today's squad. So we've
And you're
got
listing
number
players
one from the 16-17 season, I believe it is.
so Milan player
So
from season
yes,
16-17, and who makes it into our squad? Okay.
today's squad, because it was a banter era. But honestly, some of these names certainly do, and some absolutely don't. But this shows our squad depth now,
Yeah.
being second in the Serie A. So we have number one, Diego Lopez. Goalkeeper.
I mean, as a second goalkeeper, maybe, but as a starter, definitely not.
Yeah. Number two, De Sciglio.
Honestly, Max, I think, loves a bit of De Sciglio, and he loved him at Juve.
He does.
De Sciglio was incredible. He could play left, right, and center back for a little while, and then definitely fell off.
He had crazy potential on FIFA.
Yeah, I guess he would play left back, and he probably gets in for Stupinian easily there. So yes.
A bench player, yeah. Number four, Jose Mauri.
Nope.
Get him out of here. Number five, Felipe Mexes. This is an interesting one because he wasn't all terrible for Milan.
No, not
Not
at all.
world class or good, but if you look at our squad,
He does kind of give me actually Tomori vibes in terms of his up and down. I think he makes the squad, yes.
yeah, purely he
I
scored
mean,
a
we also
bicycle
don't have many defenders, so definitely just number wise. But I think comparable to Tomori.
Number seven, Jeremy Menez.
Class player. I say no, simply because we have Pulisic is that kind of role, Leao is that kind of role, and Kuku is that kind of role, and they all have better, but class easily better than a lot of the players in our squad currently. But we're just a little bit stacked there.
True. No, you're right. Number eight, one of your personal favorites, the guy that could score outside the box on multiple occasions, Suso.
I think maybe very underrated, as always. But again, we're to staying kind of thing with Menez. Where would he play? The second striker. We have too many players. He's 2-1.
He wouldn't play for Selemakers.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't. He's not defensive enough, and he's too one-sided, so we'd be only on the right. So no.
Yeah. Fair. A number nine, Luis Adriano.
Luis Adriano, no, honestly,
No.
I don't think even with as the only proper striker, I don't think he would make it.
And because we always have to bring him up every podcast, it is our 2026 goal to bring him up every time. The boy, Keisuke Honda, number 10.
Keisuke Honda, class. No, he wouldn't make it. As the second striker, he would not make it. No.
Another second striker, if you may, number 11, Alessio Cerci.
Ooh, we went after him for so long and got him too late. No, he wouldn't make it.
No. Number 13, and I think this was his first season, Alessio Romagnoli.
Romagnoli easily makes this. Yeah. Romagnoli, Gabbia equivalent.
I saw a lot of, I think Milan posted a happy birthday to him because they do that with former captains, which he was for quite a while, I think. For us,
Yeah, for sure.
Seasons almost, yeah. He got quite a lot of hate comments on now they're just stupid fans like saying, why is Milan doing this? But he was a former captain and he did always
he
put his
left
heart
well
on the pitch.
in those eras of the Kessis and Donnarummas of the world. He left much better.
Almost.
Yeah. No, respect for Alessio.
Yeah, so he stays in, probably even cracks his starting 11 almost.
Probably, yeah.
Number 15, who certainly will not make it, Rodrigo Eli.
No.
Eli. Number 16, Andrea Poli.
Also no.
Yeah.
Our midfielder.
Number 17. Yeah. Number 17, Christian Zapata. I think
Honestly,
for the vibes he makes it.
On the bench, he could make it a little bit of a Pavlovic vibe. to him. I like the Pavlovic Gabbia Tomori turning into a Zapata Romagnoli mixes. But I mean, he just for that late inter equalizer, he makes it.
Yeah, I think that was on Easter Sunday
Mm-hmm.
back. I think
Miracle. That's all
that
we
was
needed.
yeah, that's all we needed. When goal line technology, I think, was first introduced, and you see, what's his name? The crazy is it Chilean center midfielder? Oh, Gary Medel,
Mm-hmm.
just running at and the referee's just showing
Just
him the
saying, yeah,
watch. Like,
there's nothing I can do. It's a goal.
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Get the fuck out of here! All right, number 18, Ricardo Montolivo.
Ricardo Montijo gets so much hate. I mean, probably not,
Yeah,
because we were just better. But I think AC Milan fans hate him more than they should.
yeah. No, you're right. Number 20, Ignacio Abate.
Honestly, on the right, this formation is a little bit tough. Probably doesn't start over Salemakers, but he gets a shout and definitely ahead of Atekame. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And,
give some
and I
respect to Abate.
And I think that it would help us being able to change formation in a way.
True,
And
yeah, someone who can
throughout the
actually
game.
play four
Yeah,
at the back. Yeah, yeah, speed
yeah,
demon.
yeah. Number 23, Antonio Nocerino.
I mean, instead of Ruben Loftus-Cheek off the bench for sure as a starter now. And if Ibra's on that team, then give me Nocerino. Nocerino is absolute demon. 20 goals a season with Ibra playing.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a good time, Nocerino. He came from Palermo was it on a free or something?
It was
It
a
was like
Galliani
nobody.
cheap deal, yeah. That
Yeah,
just worked
yeah,
out
yeah.
perfectly.
That guy is he knows how to find talent. Number 27, Kuka, who we played against in the Champions League. Was it last season or 2 seasons ago?
Yeah. Kuchka, actually good fighter, but no, it doesn't crack it. It doesn't crack the squad.
Yeah. And now another. I know this is your one. I think probably your favorite Milan player of all time, almost. It's Jack Bonaventura,
Oh,
number
Jack
28.
Bonaventura. Honestly, with this formation, again, as a Salemaker sub on the right, he could do very well.
Yeah,
As that Ruben Loftus-Cheek position, he could do very well. If you really
yeah,
wanted, but more defensively, maybe one of the two strikers up top, depending on the
yeah.
game. Just because of that, it cracks in. And I think Allegri loves that type of player anyway. So yeah, I think Jack cracks it.
Agreed. Number 31, Luca Antonelli.
Nope.
Number 32, Christian Abbiati. This might have actually been his last final season.
Yeah, no, not ahead of Magnan.
Number 33, Alex.
No, he wasn't bad, but no.
Yeah. Number 34, Nigel de Jong.
Ooh, De Jong gets in. Yeah, defensively, yeah, I think he gets in. Maybe doesn't start necessarily, but yeah, monster.
Yeah, absolute monster. Number 45, Mario Balotelli.
In that time, yes, absolutely. Max takes him, puts him up top, surrounds him with Pulisic and Leao, and absolutely gets it.
Yeah, I think this would be. I think you pair quite well with the next player up top for us. Number 70, Carlos Bacca.
Bacca also gets. I mean, any proper striker, Luis Adriano was just terrible. But yeah, I mean, Bacca super one-footed, but could put the ball in the back of the net and Rabona. So yeah, he absolutely gets it. Max would love him. Love that profile.
I love that. It's not really like, oh, is he better than this player? Is he better than this player? It's more like we don't have any other players. So
exactly. Yeah, that's how poorly built the squad is. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. This is sort of my point. Is that some of these players are good and would actually maybe crack the starting 11, especially maybe centre back. We're talking, and depending on the left wing back position, but we're just putting him in because we have no players.
Yeah.
We're towards the end of the list, and this one hurts. It's one of those. If he'd scored that goal, we might not have entered the banter era. He might have
flourished.
Gone stratospheric with his career. It is Mbaye Niang.
He doesn't crack it because as the second striker, we're a much more talented player. But I agreed. Yeah. Big what if moment in his career.
Yeah. Number 96. Did I read that right? Oh yeah, because De Chile would have had number 2. Number 96, Davide Calabria.
90.
This would have been his first senior season.
Oh my god, I forgot he had 96. Definitely not as a starter, but again, we don't have. Is he better than Atekame? Probably, and could play 4 at the back. So maybe cracks the squad, but not a starting 11.
And then we have the final player, number 99, and I'm not going to say his name, and he's not. I'm just going to choose for you that he's not going to make the squad because he is a snake.
Yes, no, he doesn't. We're very happy. We're very happy with who we have in goal. We don't need any money hungry teenagers. Uh, yeah, that's not a lot of
Cool. That was
players,
it.
but it's more than you think. Again, it reminds you we're in a much better position now than we're then, but this squad is
Mhm.
so poorly built. So Tades is a long job ahead of him until the end of this
Yeah,
month, but especially in the summer. Um,
you're right.
then our long job ahead is for Allegri, who's today was lighting up the Cortina Olympics torch.
What a
Hilarious
hero.
scenes from the Aura Master himself. But just tomorrow, I hope he's focused on the game because at 8:45 Italian time, we will play against Como in Como.
Yeah,
A tough game. Um,
a Lombardy derby or rivalry. I
yeah,
should say
more
derby.
more this year with Inter and Cremonese and Atalanta. But they're coming off a great period. They had a three game win streak. They had a tough game against Bologna, which they drew right at the end. Um, it's a scary team. Every time I try to come up with someone to look out for, and there's a lot. Obviously, the main threat is the Madrid man number 10, Nico Paz, who since the beginning of the year has been a little bit not as present, not as important. But at a banging start to the year, the class is there. You need to contain him. Expect
And he's
Fofana,
so young.
yeah, and so young. Yes, expect Fofana to pick him up early, and Rabiot definitely to stay attached to him. But a couple of other interesting points. Da Cunha Perrone, I think, are very underrated CDMs. Play very good football. Expect to see a lot of Butez, good goalkeeper, play with his feet, especially if we press, go back to him, and that could be a danger.
Mhm.
Duplicas up top have been scoring, and after Morata kind of got injured and benched, which was maybe the only questionable choice all season by Fabregas, was why he definitely likes his friends and footballers. We saw that with Pepe Reina, who was a grandpa and shouldn't
Yeah.
have been played last season. This year has been Morata. Dubicas has been a good addition. And then before I lay off the word to you, their most expensive signing, actually, they obviously signed a lot of players in the last couple of years, and especially this summer, uh,
Mhm.
has barely featured all season. He was one of those kind of like in Kuku. That's who I was referencing, who was maybe borderline out of the squad, but he's starting to play a little bit more. And in his Baturina, he came on very late last game and scored a 94th minute goal to draw against Bologna. A beautiful goal, Del Piero-like goal, top bins bender. Um, their most
Top bit
expensive
bender.
signing, and clearly maybe didn't work out in training. Fabregas also a strong manager, but he's solid. I would not be surprised if this is sort of a turning point for him. He starts playing a little bit more and can give him an extra little kick. So watch out for Baturina as well.
Yeah.
For you, what do you make of this game on a
It's
Thursday?
it's I think it's hard to tell. I shouldn't say Como is very much like us when it comes to the results, but the results are so up and down. I mean, they can concede 4-0 to Inter, and then just a few games before that they bang in five against Torino. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then Lecce 3-0. So they're almost like the opposite of us. Actually, I say we were similar, but in terms of results,
Yeah.
but they play really well against poor teams usually,
Mm-hmm.
and slot the game away 5-1, 3-0. But then when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to the big games and the big boys, they perhaps, and it's not really like I'm not saying they're bad because end of the day it's Como. They're a bit of a sensation in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
They're a very different model from a lot of other teams, even though it's backed by an Indonesian owner, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. Fabregas has come out saying he'd rather play lose was a 5-0 and play beautiful football than a conservative 1-all draw, whatever the quote was. So it's really hard to tell when to
Mm-hmm.
or how this game is going to pan out because whilst they're not, I mean, they are up there on the table. We've been playing well against teams that are good and playing poorly against worse opposition.
Yeah.
So it's really up in the air. It could go either way.
Yeah, this is on paper the the type of match that fits Allegri's style of, strong at the back, stay low, and then kind
Yeah.
of take him on the counter. Fabregas is the one that's supposed to be playing beautiful football, beautiful attacking football. Um, so on paper is the one that maybe you like Allegri more. I am curious and potentially will be upset because they went to Inter, pressed them, played okay for a little part, but then got derailed and absolutely demolished. And Fabregas came out with some strong words saying, "Look, I'm not going to change how I play. The idea is, we play with this beautiful football, but we try to play it, against everybody at all times. It doesn't really matter who is there." So if they don't do that against us, I'll be a little bit salty because please play a little bit of suicide football also against us if you're gonna play it in San Siro against Inter. Um, but we'll see. We'll see also who plays. I think most of it we'll see from the press conference. Someone is injured, kind of picks itself. I expect the starting goalkeeper plus defending trio. I don't think we'll see a Stupinian. I hope we don't see a Stupinian. I think the midfield trio will be the starting one in Rabiot, Modric, Fofana. Salamaker always plays.
These press conferences are very much like Ron Weasley listened to the radio, listening out for friends and families that have been caught and died. He's not listening for good news. He's just listening for no bad news.
Yes, absolutely. Great pull, great reference. Yes, that's really about it. Up top, we don't know. The latest tweet in terms of Leao health is that he has this problem that continues to bother him. He's trained normally with the team, and I fear now that this is the Leao we're gonna get all season long. One that is fit enough to play, definitely, but can't be 100% in sprint, which is a shame. Fulkrug, as we said, went down. So except Christian Pulisic, and I guess Nkunku or maybe Leao. I don't know, one of the two.
It'd be interesting to see Balia because Leao has a World Cup to play.
Yeah, I wonder if that's also why he's playing, or maybe some might say maybe he rests for that because even if he doesn't play, he probably still gets called up.
Yes, yeah, he probably would. He's been picked for almost every single squad apart from the beginning of the season where he's actually out injured for us as well.
Yeah, so maybe that's extra credit to him to say, look, I have a World Cup to play, but still want to play for Milan even though he's not 100%. It's a little bit mysterious.
But now it's getting to crunch time where you maybe have to rest him so that he fully recovers. And this end of the season, we want him. I mean,
exactly.
we shouldn't be bending for Portugal and saying like, okay, we'll rest him because you guys need him. End of the day, this is the normal season for us. He is a Milan player, but you kind of want to keep him happy as well and give him the chance to go to the World Cup. So maybe we rest him a lot more.
No, absolutely agreed. It's mysterious, and I don't know. It would be a shame to play a whole season after the wasted season we had last year without fully healthy Leao. But this is a really tough one to predict. Our form isn't great. It is on paper maybe more of an Allegri than Fabregas kind of fixture in terms of the styles of football. What do you think?
Do you want me to go first with the prediction?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I'm going to go a 2-0 Milan win.
2-0 clean sheet against Como is tough. But
yes.
I could see develop like a Napoli game in which we can see there, but only because the Stupinian is the Stupinian.
The stupid man, and the goal scorers will be. I mean, again, it really depends on who's going to start. Is Pulisic? Pulisic will probably play. Will Leao play? And Nkunku might play. But I'm going to go. It's time for Salamaker to score. I feel like he's been a bit down on form the last few games. He's not been as good, but he's been playing non-stop, so you can't really blame him.
True.
And this is going to make you excited and happy. Fofana's going to score.
Yes, come to me, the dark side. Interesting. I think honestly, I'm thinking alongside your lines. I think it's gonna be a 3-1 Milan victory.
Big numbers.
I think maybe we score early, like we did against, or at least in the first half, like we did against Napoli, like we did against Roma on the counter.
Yeah.
Then we drop a little bit low, hit them on the counter again. We concede because we seem to concede stupid goals anyway. And then we close it off when they really attack towards the end. Pulisic gets the goal to redeem himself.
Nice.
Pulisic actually gets 2 goals, and then Nkunku continues his scoring streak to hopefully be the missing striker that
the balloons will be blowing.
Krug was supposed to be before his toe. Something happened to his toe. Okay, then I think we can leave it here.
Nice.
thank you for walking through this game with us. I'm not sure there will be a reaction at all because I know you won't be able to attend, and I think actually I'll be stuck at work tomorrow, being the game on a Thursday. But we will see.
Yeah, I won't be able to watch the game either. I'll catch up obviously before we do our next podcast, but it's gonna be a live score at the dinner table kind of thing, unfortunately for me.
Best of luck with this wet. Hopefully it's an easy one. We just take it away and then you can relax.
Yeah, it could be a fantastic day whereby I pass my thesis and my degree, and then Milan win again, or it could be absolutely dire. It could be one
There
of the
might
worst
not
days of
be.
my
If
life.
there's no more AC Milan Zone podcast, then you know something has gone
This is
wrong
it.
on both ends.
Yeah,
But we leave it here. As always, Forza Milan.
Thank you. So thank you, Stefano. Forza Milan.